Okay. Okay, so welcome to class today. I see that there are new people here in class. So could you please introduce yourself? This is the second session, the second tutorial that we have, okay? The first tutorial was 2 weeks ago. Normally there's kind of English every 2 weeks, okay? So it's like 1 week there's class, 1 week there's no tutorial. I mean, there's things to do in the platform, okay? So would you like to introduce yourself shortly?
Hello, I'm the new boy.
Yeah.
My name is George. I live in Las Palmas, in Canary Island.
Yes.
I'm not working yet, but I found it.
Sorry?
I have found the work.
You're looking for a job. You're looking for a job. You're trying to find it, okay? So you're trying to find a job. And, okay. So were you here last year? You say I'm the new student. Are you like a fully new student?
No, I'm not a new student. Last year,
yes.
I'm studying here.
You studied here? Okay.
With my friends.
Who are your friends? Then.
Yeah.
They're your friends. So you know each other already?
Yes.
From last year. Okay, thank you. And finally,
hi, my name is Carlos.
Carlos, I think I know you from last year.
Last year?
Yeah. We went to one class.
Yes, but I have some problem with
yes.
the course. I have to repeat first.
The first year.
I'm trying to find a job.
Yes. But in this area, in this sector of
yes.
sun energy, or yes.
Yes.
Renewable energies. Okay, good. So, as the other day, remember that we looked at Unit 1, okay, and I put three things to do, okay? The questionnaire, have you done the questionnaire? Okay, so this is something that you have to do. So just click on here and okay, so well, that's mine. Well, that's the questionnaire. So this tests the knowledge of Unit 1. And also, I have added two activities that you have to do in the platform, okay? So here in the tutorial, we do some activities, but then there are other activities that you have to do independently in the platform, okay? Which are these, okay? Activity for Unit 1, these are class exercises for here. You have the date, the 25th of September. I also published the answer key, the answers. The other day, we had time to do some activities. Others, we didn't have time to. So here you have the answers, las soluciones. And then you have two more activities. This was a reading about the weather, with weather vocabulary, and this is a listening that you also have to do, okay? So you have the audio here. So if you click on the audio, you can download the file, the track.
Unit 7.
Okay.
Listening. Part 2. Exercise 2.
And then you click on the...
Tell me, Chloe, have you always been interested in the weather?
Oh, yes. It's really fascinating.
And you have to open the listening. Let's see. Okay. And you have 6 questions. So while you listen, you have to download the recording, and while you listen, you have to answer these questions. Who has done it already? Have you done it? Or you haven't done it? You've done it, right? And you've done it as well. Okay. So was it difficult? Did you find it like
Well, the answers is
really ambiguous or
buscando es engañoso.
tricky?
Tricky.
Tricky, yes. They are tricky exercises. But they are, I mean, they are not like my activities. Right? It's not the, because they come from Cambridge, and Cambridge is very tricky in the questions. So it's not like you have to listen and to pay a lot of attention really, because it's the question and the three answers are mentioned, the three options, but only one is valid. So it's not like you will hear one and the other ones you will not hear. No, you will hear everything. You will hear the word child, the word university, the word working, but you have to be very attentive to check, I mean, to guess which is the correct one. So that's why you have time at home to do this one. You can repeat the listening like a couple of times. And you have here two opportunities as well, okay? My intention here is like, okay, this is part of the evaluation. It will have a mark, but for me it's more important that you do it than like the mark, okay? Maybe you can get the maximum mark or maybe even a fail, but it's more important that you try to do it, and that's what I'm going to take as positive, really. But you can, I mean, you have two attempts, but you can do the list, you can listen to the conversation as many times as you wish, really, because it's something for your house, okay? In a real exam, I mean, everything is more controlled. So in the listening, you listen twice or maximum 3 times. Normally, in Cambridge exams, only twice. But well, I'm being flexible, so you can listen to it as many times as you like. Okay, so today I've opened the second. If you please go to the platform, we're going to do the second unit, which has vocabulary about companies, about sectors, about different industries. So this is the booklet in PDF that you can download and read calmly at home. Okay, it has present, it has some grammar and some vocabulary. This is, I'm sure, vocabulary and grammar that you should know. So what we are going to do here in class is the class exercises here. So could you please download, open the folder, and there are 3 files. A document with the activities and then 2 more MP3 for the listening. We will do some listenings here as well, okay? So let us open this one. And we are going to do, okay, this one is easy. It's the verb to be. Do you know the verb to be in English? Yes. Yeah. So for example, what we put here, let's do this in 10 seconds. Like this, for example. Would you like to read the first one? So just read, and you can read.
Christopher programs, they are in the computer
Industry. Do you know the meaning of IT?
IT.
IT. IT is an acronym. Anybody knows? No? It means information technology. Information is an acronym that means information technology. Like programmers, computing, okay? Information technology. Is it running? Yes. Okay. Good. For example, in a company, the IT department is Informatica, Departamento de Informática, IT. Would you like to read, George, the B?
Barbara works as an accountant. She is in the financial
In
sector.
the financial sector. Do you know who an accountant is? All of this is vocabulary related to companies, okay? So IT is the name of a department in a company. Then an accountant is an occupation in a company as well. Yes, the one that like in the financial area. Okay, so C, Eva. So you're George, Jorge, and Jose, Eva, and I can't remember the rest of the names. Sorry, me, Mingo, and your Maui and Carlos. Okay. So could you please do Eva, C, where are you?
Where are you? I am the travel agent.
I'm in the travel agency. Remember that in English, you have what we call weak words. So when you pronounce the grammatical words, you don't have to put a lot of emphasis. So for example, you say, where are you? I'm in the travel agency. So this, you don't really hear, really. But, okay, bingo, D.
Are you having this company?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. I like working.
I like working here. Good. And
Excuse me. Are you Paula? No,
Paula. Are you Paula?
No, I'm not. I am Paula.
I'm Claudia.
Claudia.
I'm Paula. I'm not. I'm okay. Are you Paula? No, I'm not. I'm Claudia. And finally, Carlos.
What is your email address? It is Laura Brandi.
Okay. How do you say that?
Arroba.
At
Novatech.com.
Novatech. Technology. Technical. Okay. So when you have CH in English, it's tech. Like the other day I went to Media Mart or Carrefour, I can remember, and I was looking for a tablet because I'm planning to buy one. I haven't decided on. And I saw one brand which was Santec. Do you know that brand? Santec. Una marca que era Santec. And I went to the shopkeeper and I said, well, what's the price of the Santec tablet? Y le dije, ¿cuánto vale la tablet de la Santec? And she didn't understand. So I had to say la Suntec, because she didn't really understand. Well, anyway. Okay, good. So that's easy. Now we are going to look at this one, the articles. So I'm going to give you some minutes because you need to read a little bit. So in each of these sentences, there is one mistake related to the use of articles. Do you know what the articles are in English? A and the, okay? So there's one mistake connected to that topic. For example, here, I hope to see her at the Frankfurt Book Fair the next week. This is a mistake because in English you don't say the next week. We have to say next week. Not the next, but next. Or not the last. For example, you say, how do you say la semana pasada? Last week, but not the last week. The last week is incorrect. So could you please, in a couple of minutes, complete this activity? So read the question, the answer, the sentences carefully, and identify and correct, okay? Correct the mistakes in each sentence. Yeah? Okay, go ahead. Come on. You can do it like online if you want. I mean, if you download the document, you can complete the activity there, and then you save it in a flash drive, or you send it to you by email, so you have the activities with you. So, sorry. You can work in groups or in pairs. It's okay.
What's the meaning of can you book me? Book.
Book. What is the meaning of book?
Libro?
Yes, book means
Yeah.
libro, but as a verb is to reserve. To reserve. Can you book me a taxi? To the station. So to book is to reserve, because in the past, when there were no computers, when there was nothing, you went to a hotel and you had to register in a book. So if you go to make a reservation, the receptionist didn't have a computer, so they needed to write the reservation in a book. So that's why it's called to book. Have you finished or not yet? Not yet. Sorry? Ah, you're here. Yes. How's it going? You finished? Okay. Are you comfortable now?
Yes.
You can move the monitor like, yeah, like this if you're. Everything okay? Yes. Okay, so let's start. So let's go from the back to the front. So Carlos, would you like to read the correct version for A?
I have some information that I think will interest you.
Okay, well that's big, right? Doesn't matter. But we can do it later. So, well, this is both office, so you see the green line because it's incorrect. So the thing is, this is not possible. Information is uncountable. Have you ever studied countable and uncountable nouns? Yeah, so information maybe in Spanish sometimes, because sometimes in Spanish we have nouns which are countable, but they are not countable in English. For example, information. Advice. What is advice? Mm, less, yes, more consejos as well. For example, I need some advice. Necesito consejo, un consejo. You have to say some, not an advice, not an information. For example, noticias, news. You can't say a news, it's some news, some. So the correct version is, I'm gonna put it in, okay, in capital letters so it's like clear. So it's clear. Can you do A, Emma? Can you? A.
A.
Yeah, because he did, Carlos did B, so
I saw
A was the example. No, the example is example, but it doesn't matter. So A,
Can you book me taxi to the station, please?
can you book me? The taxi is not possible because it's not the taxi, it's any taxi. So can you book me a taxi? Okay, a taxi. I'm writing capital, but ignore my capital is just so that you can see. Good. Mingo, so Exxon, sí, Exxon Mobil. Do you remember this? What is biggest here? Sorry? Well, yes, Exxon Mobil is a kind of petrol company. Yes, yeah. But biggest is, but the thing is, what is biggest? It's the superlative, so it's one. No, it's not one of the biggest. No, it's the biggest, the biggest. So you have to say with a superlative. You have to say that. For example, the best, the worst, the cheapest, the most expensive, the most comfortable, the healthiest. That is always the biggest. Okay, can can't remember your name now.
Maui.
Sorry?
Maui.
Maui. Okay, Maui.
I'm sorry to be late again.
Mm-hmm.
I train with the light band an hour.
An hour is correct. An hour. So what is the mistake? The train. It's like my train. The train I was traveling on. It's like the opposite of the taxi. It's not one taxi in particular, it's a taxi in general. So here you have to say the train. Good. George.
The train from my train is coming.
Yeah, you can also say my train. The or my train. Good. Good.
There has been an enormous increase in the number of people going to university.
Okay. Like this?
Yeah.
Like this, okay? Enormous because it's with a vowel sound. An enormous increase in the number of people going to university.
I never get much time to read the newspapers in the work.
In the work is not possible.
No. Newspaper.
Newspaper is correct. Do you know what the newspaper is? The Times, the Sun, USA Today, El País, these are newspapers. Look, in English, you say at work. At work. At work, and if you're not at work, for example, if you're studying, you're at school. If you're a student, you're at school. If you work in an office and you're at work, then we go, after classes, we go to our house. So you say at home, at school, So normally with these kind of activities or places is at home, and no article. So you don't say at the home, it's at home, at school, at work, etc. Good. So now again, Carlos, G. Can we meet?
Can we meet in the line up around 6 o'clock? Without at
With an at. No, we need at. We need
around
at. No, at around is okay. Something to do with the article. So can we meet in the Red Lion pub? It's like in that pub. In the pub whose name is Red Lion. Okay. Aaron, in the last 5 years, the company has increased its sales by 6%.
Last 5 years, the company has increased its sales by 60%.
What is the problem here? In. Not exactly. Sorry? So, look, we have to say in the last 5 years. Because, look, one thing is, like as I said before, last week, last year, last month, last weekend, another thing is in the last. In the last means a period of time. For example, imagine you say, well, last week I didn't feel okay and I had to go to the doctor. Last week. Okay, so not this week, last week. But imagine that you say, I haven't felt very good in the last week. Can you see any differences?
in the last 3 weeks, for example.
Or in the last 3 weeks, for example. I haven't felt okay in the last 3 weeks or in the last month. In the last is a period of time. It's not last month of the calendar. It's not like you look at the calendar, you said last week, okay. Not this week, last week. No. In the last week is from last week to the present. Do you see the contrast between these two? So it's not, no es la semana pasada o el mes pasado, en el último mes, en la última semana. Yes, from the past to the present. It's not the past, it's from the past to now. Very good. Now I,
You could write your and just
on, so the mistake is here. Is something related to the article.
is.
A piece of paper. A piece of is for uncountable nouns we say a piece of. A piece of paper. A piece of information. A piece of news. A piece of furniture. A piece of clothes. A piece of. It's like one unit. Okay. And finally, Maui.
My flight leaves at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, so without any article. So we have to take out this at 3 o'clock. Any questions about this? Did you find it okay? Yeah? Good. So now we have here another one, but well, we can, what's the time? We can omit this one, okay? You can do this at home if you like, because it's again about the same. It's the, and, about the article. So let's do this one about the routine in here, and then we will do a listening, okay? So try to do this one now. You have, look at the pie chart. Look, this is the pie chart. You know what a chart is? Chart. A chart. A diagram, yes. A diagram, a graph. And a pie? Oh, yes, it's like American pie or apple pie. So pie, this has like a pie. It's called a pie chart. A diagram with the form of a pie or a cake. There's also the word cake in English. But do you know what is cake, or what are more or less the difference between cake and pie? A cake? Do you like cakes? Yeah. And what is a pie? Do you like pies?
Salad.
Yeah, that's more, not like salty, you mean salty, okay? Normally, there are some exceptions. For example, we say apple pie. Apple pie is apple, so it's sweet. But normally, when you speak about a salty product, food product, is not cake. For example, when it's your birthday, do you buy something? Do you celebrate something, or what do you buy for your friends or for your family? A pie or a cake? A cake, a cake. But imagine that you're inviting friends for dinner. You can cook, for example, a fish pie, or a chicken pie, or a beef pie, or a pork pie. So pie is very typical in England, by the way. Pie, all types of pie. Pie means something like, fish pie, which is really like empanada, okay? So pie, in England, there are a lot of pie. Have you been to England? Or, if you go to a supermarket in England, there are a lot of pies, or a pub or something, or a restaurant, fish pie, chicken pie, empanada, pork pie, etc. So this is the picture of a pie. This is the daily routine of Susan, okay, the routine. Traveling 2 hours, meeting with suppliers 3 hours, lunch 1 hour. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8:30. Okay, like 8 hours and 30. And this is a text that describes the graph, the chart, the diagram. Okay. So with the help of these verbs, you have to use these verbs to complete the text. Okay. So because it's the daily routine, what tense do we have to use? What verb tense? When you speak about your routine, what tense? You use present, past, or future for your daily routine.
Present.
Present. And what present? Present simple, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous.
Simple and continuous.
Present simple. For the routine, present simple. And when do we use continuous? Present continuous.
When you're doing action.
When you're doing an action, like at the same time of speaking or around the time of speaking. Or when something is different from the daily routine. So if you have a daily routine and there's something different, there's something special, then you can use the present continuous. For example, we typically or we usually work in the main building, but there is a computer, there are technical problems with the computers, or there are some renovations and there are some renovation works, okay? So this week we are working in an annex. We don't work in the main building as usual. We're working in a different place. Or you say, my boss is really nice to me, but this week he's been so rude. So he's been is a continuous form. But here, only simple, okay? So please read the text and complete. You can work in pairs or in groups again if you like. And then when you finish, we will have a look together. Well, maybe you can write like in here because it's like the graph, the diagram. It's because you have to move you know what I mean? But well, you can look at the screen if you want. You can eliminate the diagram and look at the screen. Do you remember when is the exam, the first exam? Sorry, speak. What do you mean by speak? The first. I know. I mean the first exam in this term. The 20 is like what is in 2 weeks, okay? Not next Thursday. Next Thursday there's no English, okay? The other Thursday it's exams, my exam and Pedro's exam, and yes, so it's like one exam per month. One exam in October, one exam in November, another exam in.
What did you unit?
Sorry? The first exam is going to be only the first unit, okay? Unit 1. But it's only 10% of the mark. So I'm going to do 3 exams. But the first exam has only 1 unit, so it's 10%. Exams in total, look, this is something that you can check on the platform. The evaluation criteria, which are here, okay? Evaluation criteria. So these are the percentages. The activities that you have in the platform, the questionnaire, the readings, the listenings, these are 30% of the mark. 10% is participation here in class and attitude, etc. And then 60% is the exams. Look, there are 6 units, so each unit is 10%. So because in the first exam, it's going to be only 1 unit, it's going to be 10%, okay? And then, like, so in the end, it's like everything is going to be weighted. So it doesn't matter if in the exam it's 1 unit or 2 units or 3 units. It's like any unit is 10% of the mark. Yes. Where's the diagram? Okay. Well, you can look at this diagram if you want. I will put the diagram for you. This is the diagram, okay? So you have to look 3 hours, okay? 3 hours is this, meeting with suppliers. So what that's going to be time, you say about 3 hours. Because you can't say she receives about 3 hours per day. She doesn't receive hours. Just say ella recibe 3 horas a la semana en reunión. What does she receive? So receive is not a possibility here. Spend. Okay. So you spend time, spend with us because it's third person. So when you think about time, you say spend. I'm going to spend 2 hours studying. I'm going to spend Christmas abroad. I'm going to spend a day in the capital. I'm going to spend a weekend in the beach. Have you finished? Sure? Okay. So here, so Susan meets a lot of people in her job. So for example, she spends with, remember the S, okay? She spends about 3 hours per day in meeting with suppliers. Who are suppliers? What is a supplier in English? In English, yeah. Like when you have like two companies, imagine I have a business. I need computers for my business. So I have to call another company to provide, it's also called provider, okay? Supplier, to supply me with computers or with, right? Yes, well, what reference is very good, really, really good. Okay, so she also, here, okay, speaks, with S, speaks on the phone a lot. mainly about prices and delivery dates. Delivery, do you buy on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, or do you shop online? No. Then yes or no? So delivery, have you ever seen that word on the internet? Delivery. To deliver, for example, the postman delivers letters. Yes. So that's delivery dates. It's like distribution. Delivery is to give something, to distribute something. Emails are her most important form of written communication. She sends and receives, or she receives and sends. It doesn't matter, but it's those two verbs, okay? That's the tricky activity. It's like you have to remember the final S. She sends and receives, or she receives and sends. About 20 every day. Usually, she. Okay. It's not has, okay? Have is has, have has. Short meeting with her boss in the morning to check on progress and new contacts. She likes to have lunch with colleagues. They often go because it's late. Yes, the S is only for the third person singular, not for the plural, not for the plural. And finally, Susan travels. Does it sound strange to you?
I see so.
What is strange?
I see travel is better for other type of activity.
Not in English, you know? In English, when you say travel, it's not only traveling as a holiday, for pleasure, for entertainment, fun. The word travel in English is like a very normal word for traveling in the city for work as well. For example, if you go to England, to London, for example, if you want to take the tube, the underground, you know what the underground is? The subway in American English. You have to buy a travel card, but you have to buy a travel card if you're a tourist or if you're a worker and you want to travel to go to your office. So travel is more general, really, in English and in Spanish, because when we say travel, we think of holidays and traveling for. In English, travel is anything. So, for example, if I say, how do you travel to work? Travel, okay? How do you travel? It's like, anyway, it's like, for example, bono de transportes is if travel card or travel pass as well.
Pues es como desplazamiento.
Yes, it's more like that. Desplazarse to travel. How do you normally do you work or are you an employee? Some of you work, but for example, how do you come here? How do you travel here? On the bus. On the bus, okay. Or by bus. On the bus or by bus? How do you come here?
By motorcycle.
By motorcycle, okay, by motorcycle. Or on my motorcycle. You can use on as well. And you, in my car. Prepositions are tricky, are difficult, because it's like, when you think of like a big or a bigger vehicle, it's on. For example, on the bus, on a plane, on a ship, on a train. But if it's a small vehicle for less passengers, then you have to say in a car, in a taxi, in a van, in a lorry, in a truck, because it's a smaller vehicle. It's not a big one, okay? So you travel in your car, or you can say I travel by car. So you can always say by car or in my car, by bus or on the bus, by bike, by motorcycle or on my motorcycle. But with motorbikes and motorcycles, you have to say on, because it's like you get on the bicycle, on a horse as well. How do you come here? How do you travel here? How do you come here to class?
In my car.
In your car, and in your car, by car, and car,
In my car.
in your car. Okay. I'm gonna tell you another thing which is much more natural in English and say, for example, if you, how do you say that in English? When you can walk, walking, when you walk, you come on foot. Okay. Look, in English, it's much more natural to compress all the information in one word. So, for example, imagine I say, I go on foot. Instead of I go on foot, 3 words, you can say the same thing in 1 word. I walk. How do you go to work? How do you go to the office? I walk. I travel in my car. I drive. I drive to the office every day. I drive to the office every morning. So it's much, because drive, we think drive, conducir, okay. Drive means conducir, but drive also means ir en coche. You know what I mean? So imagine that you say, well, every morning, todos los días para ir a trabajar, tengo que cruzarme toda la ciudad en el coche. Every morning I have to drive across the city. So instead of saying go by car, travel by car, which is correct, but it's less, it's like more natural, more common to say drive, walk, instead of travel by plane, fly. Okay. So you say, well, next Sunday, I'm gonna fly to Tenerife, instead of I'm gonna travel by plane to, okay, or sail when it's like at sea, or if you ride your bicycle, if you go by bicycle. Let me write the verbs if you want. I can write the verbs for you.
Right.
Sorry?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yes and no. Look, so when you say to go on foot, instead of go on foot is walk. To go by car, or to go in your car, or in a car, in the car, you say to drive. For example, look, imagine that you have this. I to the office, okay? So you could say, I walk to the office. This means I go to the office on foot. I drive to the office. That means I go to the office by car. If you say to go by bicycle or by bike, you say cycle. For example, in Amsterdam, in Cambridge, in England, people cycle to work. I cycle to work means I travel on my bike. And if it's a motorbike, if it's to go by motorbike or motorcycle, then you say I ride. Every morning I ride to work. So that's how do you make the difference, okay? If you say I cycle is pedalear, okay? So you have to cycle. If it's you ride, it's like it's a kind of a motor. You don't have to make a physical effort. It's just the
Right is used for horses too.
As well, yes. But that is like when you say to ride a horse, because you can say to ride a bicycle as well. But here is not ride anything, it's ride. Ride as an independent verb, not in combination with anything. So if I say I ride home, I ride home is I go to my house by motorbike. But you can say, well, the mounted police ride horses. La policía montada, the mounted police ride horses. The one in Canada, for example. Have you ever seen mounted police? In the USA, in Canada. In some countries, I don't think that in Spain we can find police officers like riding horses or. Well, I think that in the mainland, maybe not here. I haven't seen anybody here in the Canary as any police. But you're right that maybe the mainland, because I'm from the mainland, and I think that I've seen police officers riding horses. Or it's like here, you see in the beach, you see police officers riding bikes and wearing shorts and t-shirts and like. As well in California. Have you been to California? Have you been to the States? You know, I spent 4 months in San Diego, in California. 4 months. 5 years ago. It was great. I mean, it was wonderful, really. Okay, so, and also go by plane is to fly. To fly. For example, imagine that, well, some people who live in the islands, in some of the islands in the Canary Islands, like some people who live in Fuerteventura or Liverpool, have to fly to the doctor. For example, when they have an appointment with a specialist here in the hospital or something, so they have to come by plane, so they have to fly to the doctor. So this is more condensed, like it condenses all the information of so that's the thing, okay? So to travel. Good. Yes, finished. So now we are going to do a listening to change a little bit, and we are going to do 5A, not 5B, okay? 5A only. We're going to listen to a woman working in an office, talking about her daily routine, her daily activities. We have to tick, okay? We have to select the ones that are mentioned, the activities that she does, that she completes on her daily routine. But first of all, do you know the meaning of all this? Like write letters, you know, okay? To send emails as well, to do filing. What is a file? File, like X files. File. Don't look it up in the dictionary, just think. File. What is a file in the computer? Computer file. For example, a Word document is a file. A PDF is a file. Yes, file. Or in the menu, here you have sometimes file. File.
Lo que decimos en canal los piles.
Vale, sí, yes. No. Well, file is not carpeta. File is archivo. Carpeta is folder. Okay, folder. But yes, file. Yes, so folder es como archivador, carpeta, archivador. Filing, when you do filing, it's like you do filing tasks. So not in the computer. In the computer, it's like, okay, you take all your documents and this, and you go to the filing cabinet and you organize everything. That's filing. Filing. Like activities having to do with files. Like archivar, okay? Hacer tareas de archivo. Filing. How do you say archivador, not the folder, not like, I mean, like a folder, but the piece of furniture. Sometimes you have like, well, really not this, okay? But sometimes you have like with drawers, like this, and you put all the documents like this. This is called in English a filing cabinet. Filing cabinet. Okay? A cabinet is the furniture. Okay? Cabinet. Good. So to surf the net is to use the internet, to have meetings, to write reports, a report.
Notice.
Yes. For example, you go to the doctor and you can receive a medical report. You go to the police, if the police witnesses an accident, they write a police report or a news report. You see the news on TV, the news report. Informers, okay? Speak to customers. Who is a customer? Sorry? Clients, yes, a client, a shopper, a buyer. Arrange travel is to organize trips. To fill in time sheets. This. Sheets. This. Look. These are sheets of paper. This is a sheet. Okay? This is another sheet. Sheet. Also the sheets that you have in your bed. Okay? Because they are similar to this sheets. And time. So time sheets are like cuadrantes, okay? The radio or to fill in. What is to fill in? Not filing, fill in. Fill in.
Rellenar.
Rellenar, okay? It's like rellenar cuadrantes de horario, or it's like, for example, when you go to the office and you say, well, I have to do this and this and this and this. So after you have finished, before going home, you say, okay, I have done this, yes, but not this, and yes. So that's the thing. To key in data, key. To key, that's the key. Yes, but as a verb. So it's like to introduce data into a computer system by typing. Okay? It's like grabar datos, registrar datos, entrar datos, insertar, something like this, okay? Because it's the key is you have to press keys. To write minutes of a meeting, the minutes of a meeting is a summary. Have you been to business meetings, like a formal meeting? Then somebody is a secretary who writes the minutes, a summary of the information. Actas. Okay. To fill in forms. Fill in. To complete, yes, forms, formularios. Send faxes, gossip. Yeah, like Salvame and all that kind of thing. This is gossip. To make coffee, to book meeting rooms, to reserve rooms for meetings, to distribute the post, and to read the newspaper. Okay? So now we are going to listen twice, 2 times, and you have to select the ones that this girl, this woman, does in the office. Okay, here. This is in the platform, okay, the listening. So you can, if you then want to practice at home, you have a chance as well.
Unit 1. Listening. I arrive at the office at about 8:30 and make a coffee.
Okay, I will put it again. It's like, okay.
Unit 1. Listening. I arrive at the office at about 8:30 and make a coffee, then go into my regular morning meeting with my team and manager. It's only a short meeting, but we get a briefing for the day's work and we discuss any problems or issues that may be coming up. Then I go to my desk and I check my emails. They come in overnight because we have offices all over the world. Then I make phone calls and send emails to get the information I need to answer any queries. I work at my desk most of the day. I speak to customers a lot on the phone, and I quite like that. I like helping them and giving information. I also make phone calls to the warehouse and to our sales departments around the world. I talk to lots of people that I've never met. I get a bit tired at my desk, so I like getting up to send faxes. It's a bit of exercise, and I often have a chat and a gossip with my colleagues at the copy machine. In the afternoon, I do the same sort of work, but I usually find time to surf the net for 5 or 10 minutes. It breaks the routine of the day. I often have to key in data. It's a bit boring, but it's part of the job. At 5 o'clock, I fill in a timesheet, and that's a typical day.
Okay, let's listen to it again. Where's the, yeah. So again, and then you can.
Unit 1. Listening. I arrive at the office at about 8:30 and make a coffee, then go into my regular morning meeting with my team and manager. It's only a short meeting, but we get a briefing for the day's work and we discuss any problems or issues that may be coming up. Then I go to my desk and I check my emails. They come in overnight because we have offices all over the world. Then I make phone calls and send emails to get the information I need to answer any queries. I work at my desk most of the day. I speak to customers a lot on the phone, and I quite like that. I like helping them and giving information. I also make phone calls to the warehouse and to our sales departments around the world. I talk to lots of people that I've never met. I get a bit tired at my desk, so I like getting up to send faxes. It's a bit of exercise, and I often have a chat and a gossip with my colleagues at the copy machine. In the afternoon, I do the same sort of work, but I usually find time to surf the net for 5 or 10 minutes. It breaks the routine of the day. I often have to key in data. It's a bit boring, but it's part of the job. At 5 o'clock, I fill in a timesheet, and that's a typical day.
Okay, so everything okay with the yes? So let's go one by one. So we can listen, and I will stop after each one is mentioned.
Unit 1. Listening. I arrive at the office at about 8:30 and make a coffee, then go into my
Okay, so make coffee, this one.
regular morning meeting with my team and manager.
So have meetings. I have a meeting with my boss and team, the team of the group of people. Okay, so have meetings.
It's only a short meeting,
It's only a short meeting,
but we get a briefing for the day's work and we
but we get a briefing. No? A briefing, un briefing. A briefing is a kind of meeting, short meeting.
Una especie de conferencia.
Yes,
No,
more or
porque
less.
solo de conferencia siempre es el briefing.
Briefing. A briefing is a meeting, okay? Short meeting.
Discuss any problems or issues that may be coming up. Then I go to my desk and I check my emails. They come in overnight because we have offices all over the world. Then I make phone calls and send emails to get the information.
Okay, so send is here, okay? Send emails. Because before she said I check emails, but not send emails. Now send emails.
I need to answer any queries. I work at my desk most of the day. I speak to customers a lot on
I speak to customers a lot on the phone.
the phone, and I quite like that. I like helping them and giving information. I also make phone calls to the warehouse and to our sales departments around the world. I talk to lots of people that I've never met. I get a bit tired at my desk, so I like getting up to send faxes.
Send faxes. Why? I mean,
It's a bit of exercise.
why does she like to send faxes?
It's a bit of exercise.
Because it's a bit of exercise. You're not like a slave of the desk of the computer. You can move a little bit and walk.
And I often have a chat and a gossip with
I often have a chat and a gossip with my mates.
my colleagues at the coffee machine. In the afternoon, I do the same sort of work, but I usually find time to surf the net.
To surf the net, to use the internet.
For 5 or 10 minutes. It breaks the routine of the day. I often have to key in data.
I often have to key in data.
It's a bit boring, but it's part of the job. At 5 o'clock, I fill in a timesheet, and that's a typical day.
And that's typical then. Okay, good. So now let's do another one, another activity. This really you can do on your own. Let us do this one, the one in the last page of the document. Okay, this one. So match the company departments. So imagine this is a company. So you have like pictures of different departments. This is in the last page. Facilities department. This is production department, human resources, information technology, finance, customer care, etc. So you have to connect, you have to match the names of the departments with the functions, with the responsibilities. For example, if you say, it deals with billing, salaries, taxes, investment, and budgets. What is all these words? Billing.
Human resource.
Okay. Billing, well, not really. Billing, you know what billing is? Billing, bill, what's the bill? You go to a hotel, you say, they have the bill, or in a restaurant, waiter, the bill please. As well, yes, as well. Bill is also a loan, okay? Bill is an invoice. It's like the factura, okay? So billing, facturación, salaries, taxes, taxes to the government, investments, impuestos, investments, okay? Inversiones, budgets, presupuesto. So what's that? What department? Is the finance department, okay? So could you please continue and in a couple of minutes read the descriptions and match them to the names of the departments. Okay, should we check? Okay. 1 minute more. Okay, so let's see. So the first one, this was the finance department. Can you read through the second one?
Second,
Yes, is responsible.
it is responsible for advertising and market research. It organizes the selling of their
Of the
products.
products. And that's
Sales and marketing management.
sales and marketing management. Marketing, okay? It's like advertising, publicity. George?
It's produce the finished products.
Mhm.
Production
Department.
production.
Production. Because it produces the finished products, production. So it's product, but produce. Production, produce. Eva, it deals.
It deals with staff and is responsible
Good.
for recruiting and training human
Training.
resources.
Human resources, or in English, abbreviated HR, okay? It's like information technology, IT, human resources, HR, administration, admin, okay? Admin. So normally you have this kind of thing. Mingo, it organizes the maintenance.
Of the building, including of space. Human resource.
Human resources have is before, okay, was before. What's the buildings, the material things, I mean, like facility departments. Because facility doesn't mean facilidad, okay? Facilities means instalaciones. Instalaciones. For example, imagine that you work in a company and you have a visitor and you say, well, let me show you our facilities. Our facilities, the building, the garden, everything. Or in a hotel, you say the hotel facilities. So you can show your customer the pool, the sauna, the tennis courts, the bar, the disco. Okay, Maui is responsible for the computer.
It is responsible for buying the material the company needs to.
Before. It's responsible for the computer systems.
And trains staff in the computer use information technology.
Good. IT, if you want to shorten it. Then Carlos is responsible for the buying.
Buying the materials the company needs to make its product. Purchasing.
Purchasing department. Purchasing. Compras, adquisiciones, purchasing. I forgot your name. Jose, yes. This one, the last one, it gives.
It gives support to buyer in person on the phone or via email.
Okay. Via email.
Customer care center.
Customer care center. Care. What do you mean by care? Care. Like cuidar, okay? It's the customer care center.
Y entonces como
Y atención.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, more or less. You can also say customer service, okay? Customer service, customer center, customer care, customer help as well, or assistance. And finally, it makes plans for the company's future. Is planning. Okay, so what's the? Well, we have some minutes. Okay, so let's go to the previous page to activity 11. Here we're going to listen to the names of 10 departments. 10 departments, okay? So just pay attention and copy only the name of the department. Only the name.
Activity 11. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to marketing. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to customer service. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to accounts. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to R&D. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to HR. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to finance. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to sales. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to IT. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to admin. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to logistics.
Okay, once again, I will stop, okay? And you tell me. So they always say, Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Could you please go and speak to, and then the name of the department. Listen again.
Activity 11. Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to marketing.
So the first department is marketing.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to customer service.
So this is customer service. Okay, customer service. Well, you can, here it says customer service, but in English you can also write customer services, okay? So it is correct as well.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to accounts.
To accounts, yes. You can also say accounting.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to R&D.
Okay, this is an acronym which is R and D, which means research and development. Research and development. Yes, I+D. Does it sound familiar? So research and development. Yes. So you don't say I+D, no, because it's like R and D. And today people say R, D, and I, which is research, development, and innovation. Because now the modern tendency is not only I+D, you know, I+D más I. No? So the next one.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to HR.
HR. Human. So when you speak about the company, really the tendency to use acronyms, HR, R&D, IT, abbreviations.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to finance.
To finance.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to sales.
Sales.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to IT.
IT, information technology.
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to admin.
Admin, or you can also say administration. And finally,
Luis and Mario, this is Mr. White. Please go and speak to logistics.
Logistics, okay? So these are some of the main departments in a company, okay? So we're not going to do more activities. I think it's enough, but let me just, a couple of minutes. Okay, have you copied the answers? Yeah, you will have the answers on the platform anyway. So now, because unit 2 is open, so remember that the first exam is going to be only for the first unit, okay? But we have to continue with the rest of the units. So we will start with unit 2, which means that you have to complete this. You have to forget about it. I mean, you have to complete it and move on. So don't have like as soon as you can, as you have like free time, complete the questionnaire, which is obligatory, and these two, okay, the reading and the listening. This is just the audio, is the of the listening. You don't have to complete everything. So because this will be for unit 1, now we have to move on to unit 2, and there will be more activities. Now, if you now your homework, let's say, is that you have to read the booklet for the unit, okay? Por la otra. Ah, vale. Sí, vamos a terminar ya. Nada. So here you have the booklet, videos, if you want to see some of the topics. There's nothing yet here. These are the activities that we've done today, and this is the questionnaire for self-evaluation. Remember that you have 2 attempts. You can do it twice. Maybe one to practice and another one like an exam or something like that. But apart from this, I will add other activities, like in the first unit, okay? The ones that say Cambridge style activity, actividades de estilo como los exámenes de Cambridge, ¿vale? So that's it. I mean, good night. So see you in through the platform, okay? So check the platform usually. Para que no se dejen tampoco así como oír mucho de esa, claro, igual la actividad, o sea, mandan por email o como quieran. Y terminen el resto de las actividades, ¿vale? No me tienen que enviar nada. Digo, como ya me he estado haciéndolas, aquí en la tutoría da tiempo a hacer algunas. Yo le doy un poco de prioridad a los listening sobre todo, ¿no? Pero bueno, hemos hecho un poco de los artículos, después otra de la rutina, el listening, los departamentos, hemos hecho un poco de todo. Faltan actividades por hacer, pues simplemente las hacen, no me las tienen que enviar, nada. Yo pondré las respuestas en la plataforma como he hecho con la unidad 1. Lo que sí es que me tienen que entregar, pero se entrega haciéndolo online, son esto, ¿vale? O sea, realmente son los que ven aquí, que se llama un cuestionario, este logotipo, este icono, con los 2 texts, ¿vale? Así que, o sea, vayan terminando un poco. Yo no he puesto límite. No, en principio, yo no suelo poner límites. Es decir, no, para el martes que viene, para el no sé qué. Pero sí que es verdad que más o menos pues, a lo mejor pongo límites más amplios. Es decir, por ejemplo, cuando sea el primer examen, pues hay que tener todo lo que es a lo mejor de las 2 primeras unidades, hay que tenerlo ya entregado, ¿vale? And yes, so the exam is going to be through the platform. El primer examen y el segundo son por la plataforma. El último es escrito, ¿vale? Pero que va a ser más o menos del mismo formato que si fuera en la plataforma. Lo que pasa que hay que hacerlo en papel y ya está.
Como siempre estamos haciendo.
Sí. Como, efectivamente, o sea, es como el oficial. Los otros son que los hacemos por quitar materia, como eliminatorio, pero son parciales que no son oficiales. Por eso. But anyway, okay, thank you for coming and for your patience, and see you soon.